At this point, I don't even think you realize. Hey, that wasn't real. But neither is the perfect life that you keep escaping to in your head. You keep replaying scenarios, living out fake dreams that never actually happen. While in the real world, time is slipping away. But it seems harmless, right? No big deal. But what if I told you daydreaming is actually destroying your motivation, your focus, and your future? I want you to understand daydreaming is tricking you into thinking that you are making progress when all you're really doing is just fantasizing. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Sit here and really ask yourself, if I've imagined my dream life hundreds, if not thousands of times, why hasn't anything changed? Why hasn't anything changed? Why is everything still the same? It is because you are stuck inside of this trap, this cycle of daydreaming, less action, less confidence, more daydreaming. And it's pretty simple if you think about it. The first thing starts with you daydreaming, right? It doesn't really seem like anything that's bad. It really seems harmless. I'm just, daydreaming about the stuff that I want to do and the life that I want to have. But you don't realize that a lot of times this leads to less action because you cannot sit here and daydream and do things that are going to progress your life. For example, you cannot sit here and daydream and cook a new recipe. You're going to have to pay attention to make sure you cook it right. If I tell you to go a different way on the way home, you are going to have to pay attention. You're probably not going to be able to daydream. If you are reading something that is complicated and it's causing your brain to essentially grow, you are not going to be able to daydream. You're able to daydream when you do the things that are part of your routine, when you do the things, i.e., that do not progress your life. So you probably do daydream on your way home from work because you take the same route every single day. You probably do daydream possibly when you're at work because you do the same thing all the time. You daydream when you're in the bed. All these times that you spend daydreaming, you don't realize those are literally times where you are not in action, i.e., you are not doing anything to progress your life. But the problem is this often leads to the next step of less confidence because confidence comes from action. Confidence comes from actually doing. But I want you to understand a lot of times you lose confidence as well, not only because in the physical you don't do as much action, but also when it comes to your mental, because you often use daydreaming as a form of control. I want you to understand, you can control the situation, you can control your life in your mind, but you can't in reality. And you know that, and you want to stay in control. So what do? You constantly sit here and you daydream. But I want you to understand, to gain confidence in doing something, you have to lose a little bit of control. You have to do things not knowing exactly how it's gonna pan out. You have to do things knowing you're probably not the best and this is your first time. And you need to understand that this constant daydreaming causes you to have less confidence because now when it comes to doing things, you don't want that unsure feeling because you want everything to be exactly how you imagine it in your daydream, right? You want that conversation to go that way. You want that interview to go that way. You want that relationship to go that way. And so you constantly daydream to try to erase that unsure feeling that you no longer want to have. But that unsure feeling is literally necessary when it comes to confidence. And what does that lead to? It causes you to daydream again because now you literally have no confidence and you literally do nothing that's going to progress your life. So what are you doing now? All you're going to do is daydream. What else do you have to do besides sit there and be bored all day? And so I want you to realize you are literally stuck in this cycle of daydreaming, less action, less confidence, more daydreaming. And if you do not learn how to leave this cycle, your life is literally going to stay stuck and is not going to progress. Because the main component of this cycle is that you have to keep doing the things that you've already done. You have to keep doing things that are part of your routine. But isn't your routine the same thing that you want to change to get your dream life? Now, why do you even daydream? That's probably a question I'm sure that you have because you're like, I want to get out of this cycle. I want to stop having no progress in my life, but I don't even know the first step of why I even daydream. Well, let me explain it to you. It is because you are using daydreaming as a coping mechanism to basically make up for unmet emotional needs. There are things that you want to feel emotionally that you do not feel that oftentimes daydreaming makes up for. It's something actually called escapism. It is kind of an imbalance, right? When your mind is sometimes escaping what your body is going through. And to help pinpoint the emotions that you want to feel, I would recommend to pay attention to your top 2 to 3 daydreams. Usually, we have a whole bunch, but usually there's two top the three that you've had for quite a while, and pay attention to what are you always doing? What are the conversations that you're always having? Who are the people that you were always talking to? And then ask yourself, if I was to experience that thing in real life, what emotion would I have? Are you always talking to a guy and maybe you want to feel loved, or maybe you want to feel cared about? Are you always telling people about you starting a business? Maybe you want to feel, respected, or you want to have recognition. That is a major thing to do to figure out why you were actually daydreaming. But another imbalance that it causes is a chemical imbalance inside of us as well. So a lot of times you daydream more if you are going through more stress. Like I said, it's an escapism. It is your mind trying to escape what your body is going through. Because when you are going through high amounts of stress, your body is literally pumping out stress hormones. And so inside of you is going, right? Inside of you is literally going crazy. All these stress hormones are being pumped inside of you. But what did I say? The cycle you're stuck in. You're stuck in the less action, less confidence cycle. So on the outside, you are literally not doing anything. On the outside, because of your daydreaming, it's causing you to not act. So your outside is going, you ever saw the episode of SpongeBob when he was normal? He was like, hi, I'm normal. Hi. That's literally what your body is going through. So imagine that imbalance. Imagine your insides being like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh my gosh, we're stressing. Oh my gosh, this is going on. And then your outside just going, hey, how are you doing? Hey. And so to make up and try to help you with that imbalance that's going on, your mind causes you to daydream, because it's like, I know we're stressed. I know we're going through these things. I know outside us isn't doing anything. I know outside us doesn't have any action, doesn't have any progress, but it's okay. I'm going to create a happy place for us, and it's going to be great here, and we're going to be safe here, and it's going to make us feel good. And that is the root of you daydreaming. It's literally a chemical imbalance. It's literally because you are going through so much stress and your inside and your outside is unbalanced. And then there are also unmet emotional needs that you want to feel that you are not feeling. But a lot of times you're not feeling those things because you're not acting upon them, because you're stuck in the cycle. Now, of course, we need to break this cycle. So I'm going to give you 3 things that you are going to do that is going to get you out of this daydreaming cycle. First, I want you to have intense workouts to match your stress level. Like I said before, there's a chemical imbalance between your insides and your outsides. Your insides are going 100 miles per hour. Your outsides are going 2 miles per hour. Intense workouts, I recommend cardio. So this is like you running on the treadmill, possibly like a HIIT intense workout, HIIT, to help bring up, that inside of you, that outside of let's move. And the reason why this helps is because first and foremost, this allows, like I said, your exterior to match your interior as far as the activity. But then also this literally tires out your brain. Sometimes your brain is too active. That's another reason for daydreaming, because it's trying to overcompensate. And so allow your brain to literally just get ran out. It's very similar to a child, right? If you, for example, give a child a whole bunch of sugar, that is what your heart is going through. That's what your insides are going through when you're under stress. And you tell that child, hey, I want you to sit in the corner. You just gave me all this damn sugar and you telling me to sit in the corner? What is the only thing that child's probably going to do? They're going to imagine themselves running around. They're going to imagine themselves not being in the corner, because that's the only way they could stay in the corner and stay sane. That's the same thing you do. To stay sane in life, you imagine so much. But think about it. If you allow that child to run around and let out some of that sugar and let out some of that energy, they will probably sleep better at night. They will probably be better. And so think about that with yourselves. Intense workout. The more stress that you have, the more intense the workout needs to be. And disclaimer, I know some of y'all gonna be like, should I do weights? If you are not a weights person, I don't recommend to do weights. Weights, yes, is a good workout, but we want something literally to tire you out, something that you can go hard at. And it's a lot easier to go hard doing cardio than it is doing weights. So do that. And that is going to help balance out your hormones. Literally, it's going to tire out your brain. It's going to cause you to have less avoidant behavior. So you're less likely to avoid things that you're supposed to do. And it's going to honestly allow you to have a little bit more willpower. A lot of times you're fighting against an overactive brain. You're trying to stop being on social media. You're trying to stop eating unhealthy. You're trying to do all these things, but you don't realize you're competing against Hulk Hogan. You're competing against something that is so strong, and it's like, tire that thing out and it will be easier to stop daydreaming, and it'll be easier for you to have willpower. So the first step is intense workouts that match your stress level. The more stress, the more intense the workout. The second one, I'm going to need you to experience new things on a weekly basis. Get out of your routine on a weekly basis. Now, I'm not telling you to spend a whole bunch of money, but this can be something such as every so often taking a different route home from work. This can be possibly, visiting a new coffee shop. You don't even have to spend a whole bunch of money. The reason why, and honestly, it's starting to get warm outside. You can go to a new park somewhere, walk somewhere, go hiking. The reason why I want you to do this is because, going back to what I said, you have an unmet emotional need. It's very easy for you to avoid these emotional needs and not cycle them out when you are not doing anything that is going to bring them up. So also pay attention to what are some of the emotions that you want to have, and what are some things that you can do that are very similar to these emotions. Because at the end of the day, I don't want you to think it's bad to have some of these emotions. Like, sometimes you're going to be stressed. Sometimes you're going to procrastinate. Sometimes you're going to do all these things that you do to avoid when it comes to daydreaming. But they're supposed to be cycled out. You're supposed to procrastinate for a little bit. You're supposed to be stressed for a little bit. You're supposed to have anxiety for a little bit. Like, some of these things are just normal things in life. But the problem is you hold on to a lot of these emotions for so long, often too long, which goes back to not allowing you to progress in life because you're not facing these emotions. You're literally using daydreaming as a protection shield. If I sit here and daydream about this date, I don't really have to go on the date. If I sit here and daydream about this guy, I don't actually have to talk to the guy. If I daydream about this business, I don't have to start the business, because it is always going to be perfect in your head, because you can control your mind, but you cannot control reality. So on a weekly basis, I want you to schedule it in. Do something new. It is getting warm outside. This gives you more opportunities to go outside. Do something new. Do something outside of your routine. Your routine is why you're stuck. Your routine is why you're watching this video. You want to stop doing the things that you always do. You want to get to a point in life where you're looking back at the old things that you did before, and you're kind of like, I can't even believe I used to do that. I can't even believe. That's the goal. And in order to get to that point, we're going to need you to start doing new things. So on a weekly basis, you need to start doing one thing outside of your routine. I mean, if it's going home a different direction, you could do that 2-3 times a week. But nonetheless, you need to start facing these emotions, the emotions that you are trying to avoid, of procrastination, of anxiety, of fear. We need to face them, because the more we face them, the more confidence that we have. The more confidence that we have, the more things we're going to accomplish and do. And the third one is to create a real life, tangible vision for your dream life. I think people need to understand that there's a distinction between having dreams and having goals. You need to start actually goal setting. See, a goal is something that is specific. A goal is something that I always say is achievable. A dream is just something just to have. I want you to think about when you dream at night, right? You can have a great dream or you can have a bad dream. Think about that dream, and then think about when you wake up. Isn't it usually a little bit fuzzy? Isn't it a little bit, you can't account as much? And especially as time goes on throughout the day, it might have been something that you really wanted to tell somebody about a dream, and now you can't even remember it. And you're like, I hope I have it again, but I wouldn't even know how to have that dream again, i.e. achieve that thing. And so I want you to understand there has to be a point in your life where you're like, okay, I want to turn this dream into a specific thing I'm going to achieve by turning it to a goal. A dream is, I want a new car, I want a new house, I want to make more money. A goal is, I want a Mercedes-Benz AMG GLE 63, because I do. I want to live in an apartment that is at least 800 square feet, that costs this amount, that's located in this area. I want to make this amount of money a year, 6 figures a year, even get more specific, $100,000 a year. The reason why it is hard for you to actually achieve your dreams, even though you're constantly daydreaming, is because you literally don't even know how to get there. That's like getting in a car and someone telling you, come get me. It's like, where are you? Like, can I get a GPS? Can I get I don't even know how to get there. That is literally what your mind is saying. We don't know how to get there. So we're just going to daydream some more because that makes us feel good. Once I have a dream of doing something and I turn it into a goal is what I can break down. I can look up the price of the car that I want. I can figure out, okay, well, how much would I have to pay a month? Okay, how much would a down payment have to be? Okay, how much would I even have to make to afford something like that? If I would have wanted an apartment like this, how much would it cost to live there? See, one is achievable and one is not. One is childish, I would say, and one is being an adult. And that's something that I want you to understand. You need to create specific goals. You need to start goal setting. These dreams that you have, like I said, going back to the top 2 to 3 dreams, they're not there for no reason. Your brain, your body wants you to have this emotion. It is missing this emotion. It wants it. So help your body achieve it by giving yourself a specific goal that you want to achieve and then breaking that goal into action steps. But you can't break it into smaller action steps if you don't even know what you really want to do with your life. Now, for some of you, none of this will work. I know you're probably like, wait, you just gave us 3 steps and you're saying it's not gonna work. It's not, because there's some of you who are like, I always watch the videos and I always watch the content, but I feel like I never change. I feel like nothing happens for me. And I don't know if those 3 steps will help. They're not. If you do not change your mindset about how you're actually going to achieve those things. I want you to understand, you rely too much on IQ and you are not worried about your EQ. Your IQ is things that you get from reading books and watching videos like this, right? Learning how to do something. Your intelligence, right? Intellectual intelligence. Your EQ is your emotional intelligence, and your emotional intelligence is important for learning how to manage, use, and deal with your emotions. The first thing I said to y'all is the root of your daydreaming is unmet emotional needs. You are not going to read a book. You are not going to watch a video. You are not going to watch a movie or something, and it is going to teach you on how to specifically get your unmet emotional needs. All I gave you here were roadmaps, road steps. But if you paid attention, a lot of the things that I told you were physical. Even the last one, yes, it was giving you an idea of goal setting, but the whole idea for that was to figure out what are the next steps. You are not going to change your life by watching another video about daydreaming. This should be the last video you're watching about daydreaming. This should be the last time that you're worrying about daydreaming. If you are not ready to physically change something, you are not going to stop daydreaming until something changes with your emotions. See, a reason why you daydream is because your IQ is way too high. You're just trying to learn how to stop. You can't learn how to fix your unmet emotional needs. That is something that is innate to you. That is something that is personal to you, very similar to your daydreams. You have to learn how to increase your EQ, which is your emotional intelligence. You need to be able to deal with the situation that gives you stress, deal with the situation that gives you anxiety, deal with the situation that makes you want to procrastinate, and have such a high EQ that you know how to manage and use that thing, that you know how to deal with that thing. I want you to understand this. There are 2 individuals that are stressed about a test coming up, right? The person who has a very high IQ is going to say, okay, well, I have to do this, and if I study for this, and if I study for that, and then they're stressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm so overwhelmed. You know what, okay, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm probably gonna take a nap, because this is just overwhelming. The person that has a high EQ is going to say, okay, I get very overwhelmed when I try to do everything at once. So for 45 minutes, I'm going to do this section. And then I know my body gets overwhelmed. So then I'm going to stop a little bit. I might watch some TV. I might lay down. And then after an hour, I'm going to go back and do 45 minutes more. Why? Because that person understands their emotions. They understand when they're going to start procrastinating. They understand when they get anxiety. They understand what their emotions are going through. So what do? They manage their emotions. They know how to effectively use them. They're not saying, as I said before, they're not trying to completely get rid of anxiety. They're not trying to completely get rid of procrastination, because they know those are things that's going to come. But if they have a high EQ, they're not trying to read a book. They're not trying to watch a whole bunch of videos to figure out how to deal with the situation, because at the end of the day, you know what to do. I literally just explained to you what to do. And so it's upon you to say, okay, I'm going to do something to make sure that my exterior matches my interior. I'm going to physically change something. It's not going to work for you, I promise. If you try to read another book, if you try to watch another video, it's not going to work. Those steps work, but only for people who are proactively trying to increase their EQ and not their IQ. They're not trying to learn something. They're actually trying to do something. Now, this is the end of the video. I don't want you guys to think daydreaming is completely horrible. It is not like the end of the world. It's not completely horrible. I daydream from time to time. And I actually created this video because it was becoming a problem for me. I want you to understand there are benefits of daydreaming. There are benefits of you thinking about things. There are benefits of sometimes you being a little bit stressed out and you're like, you know what? I want to escape the situation I'm going through. There are benefits to that. And that actually can be very helpful for you. But the problem is you become stuck. The problem is you realize it becomes days, it becomes weeks, it becomes months, and then it becomes years of you making no progress. physically, but mentally, you're daydreaming. You're doing more and more and more. And so I want you to understand, you just need to learn how to manage it. It's not about completely getting rid of it. It's just learning how to manage it so you can have a balance of daydreaming and also being productive, because I do enjoy daydreaming. Like, I sometimes enjoy being delusional. I think you have to have a certain amount of delusion to achieve your dreams, goals, and aspirations, but you can't allow that delusion to overcome you and overtake you. So after you watch all this, now you have a choice. You can either keep daydreaming or you can start living. The choice is yours. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm officially back. You guys can see I'm trying to do a rebrand. I'm trying to make things more professional, more polished, more put together. So I hope that you guys like that. Of course, don't forget to follow. Comment anything. You comment a fire emoji, you can comment a heart, anything that you can comment. Every Tuesday, I drop podcast episodes of these videos. So if you more so like to just listen, I definitely recommend to go below and do that. My newsletter, definitely sign up for my monthly newsletter. That will be below. And also my TikTok and also my Pinterest. So all of my socials, everything will definitely be below. And turn on your post notifications. Some people are like, I haven't seen you in a while and I don't be seeing your videos. Turn on your post notifications so you're notified every time I post a video. And starting now, my new schedule will be 2 days a week. Comment below what days you would like me to post. I'm going from 3 to 2 just so I can create more quality content, but I don't know what days you guys want me to post. So you guys want it like Saturday, Wednesday, or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, Thursday? Like, what do y'all want? So tell me that below. And thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. We are almost at 100,000 followers. Yeah, let me stop rambling because I'm about to start rambling. But thank you guys so much. I'm just so happy, and thank you so much.